dear friend. So in the previous lecture, we have discussed some of the advantage of the negative feedback, and that is a input resistance and output resistance. So in that case, we have seen that when we apply a feedback to the amplifier circuit, then the input resistance of the amplifier is given by RIF equal to Ri into 1 minus k into AV. It means now 1 minus k into AV factor is multiplied with this Ri. And if the k is going to be a negative, in that case the input resistance of the amplifier is going to increase. So normally for the ideal amplifier, input resistance should be a very large. So here due to the feedback, it is going to increase, means our amplifier become a more ideal. Then we have discussed that what is the effect on a output resistance. Here the output resistance is given by Rho upon 1 minus k into AV. So whatever the original output resistance is there, it is now divided by the factor of 1 minus k into AV. It means the output resistance of the amplifier is going to decrease. So these are the advantage. Here normally means for a good quality of the amplifier, output resistance should be as low as possible. Now here with the feedback, it is going to be decreased by the amount of 1 upon 1 minus k into AV. So again, by applying this feedback, your amplifier is going to be more ideal. So these are the two major advantages of applying the negative feedback to the amplifier circuit. Now today we will discuss what will be the effect on a stability of the amplifier. Stability of the amplifier. So first of all, we have to understand that what we mean by the stability. So normally when we have a kind of an amplifier circuit, then it has an input as well as the output, and we calculate the gain by a output voltage by the input voltage. So here the gain of the amplifier is AV. Now in this amplifier, if the gain of the amplifier remain constant with any kind of the parameter, then we can say the amplifier is a stable. But practically if we see the gain of the amplifier, or you can say the output voltage of the amplifier is not remaining with the constant. It means the gain of the amplifier is go on changing, and that is a unstable amplifier. So when we apply the negative feedback, then stability of the amplifier is going to increase. Now why the amplifier is going to be unstable? Here the voltage gain of the amplifier is changed due to what kind of the parameter. So first of all, if we see, then inside the amplifier we are using a active device like a transistor. So here we have the transistor, and already you know transistor is made up from the semiconductor material. And semiconductor material is sensitive with the temperature. So when the temperature will change, means the environment temperature will change, then due to that the characteristics of the semiconductor material is changing, and due to that the beta, already you know what is the beta, that is called a current gain of the amplifier. So beta of the transistor will change, and that will affect the gain of the amplifier. Here second thing, in a SYBS you must have learned a stability of the amplifier or the thermal runaway. Already you know, when we apply a power supply to the amplifier circuit, then there will be a flow of the current, collector current will be there. Due to this collector current, there is a junction that is called a collector base junction, and that junction is going to be heat up. Due to the heat, the leakage current is going to change, and the leakage current is very sensitive with the temperature, and that will again change the collector current. So internally also, whenever the current will flow in the transistor or in a active device, then the internal temperature of the transistor is changing, and due to that the current gain beta of the transistor is changing, and as a result the gain of the amplifier is not going to remain constant. So here we can say that amplifier is a unstable amplifier. Then if you see the another parameter, that every amplifier we provide a supply voltage that we call a VCC. Correct? Now this VCC can be a 10 volt, 12 volt or 25 volt will be there. So when we are designing the amplifier circuit, at that time we consider that what kind of the DC voltage we are going to apply, and accordingly we are calculating what will be the gain of the amplifier. Now here, if your power supply is not stable, means in that case the output voltage of the power supply is changing with the temperature or changing with a variation in the line voltage, because the line voltage is also not going to remain constant. It is sometimes also going to be a fluctuate. So due to the fluctuation, my 10 volts or 12 volt is not going to remain constant. And in that case, if we have not properly designed the amplifier circuit, then either the gain of the amplifier will increase or the gain of the amplifier is decrease. Means here the supply voltage affects the gain of the amplifier. So again, in this case you can say the amplifier is not stable. Then if you see a third parameter is again a transistor. Now by chance, when we have a kind of amplifier circuit, electronics devices are there, then due to any reason, sometimes this electronics device can be a damage. So your amplifier is not going to work. In that case, we have to replace the transistor. Now when you are replacing the transistor, then the beta of the transistor is again going to change. Remember, if I will take an example of, let us say, in my amplifier I am using a transistor of BC108, and that transistor has a beta equal to 100, and we are calculating a gain. So let us say in that case the gain of the amplifier is 10. Now anyhow this transistor is damaged. So I have to replace the transistor with a newer one. Now if I will take a same number of the transistor BC108, then it is not necessary that the beta of the transistor will be exactly 100. Now this transistor can have a beta of 50. Then here if you calculate the gain of the amplifier, it is not going to remain 10. It will come out to be a 8. If we have a transistor a gain with current gain with a 300, then the gain of the amplifier will increase to 12. So remember, here when the transistor is going to be manufactured, at that time it is very difficult to keep the beta of the transistor constant. If you take a 100 pieces of BC108, remember, 100 pieces of BC108, and if you measure the beta, then the beta of the transistor is not a constant, it will be within the range of 100 to 800. Means some of the transistor will have a beta of 100, some of the transistor will have a 300, some of the transistor will have a 700. It is not a fixed quantity. So when we replace the transistor with the newer one, then my original gain of the amplifier will also change. So in this way, either we change a power supply, that is supply voltage VCC, or if the temperature will change or the transistor will change, then all these parameter is affecting the gain of the amplifier, and that is AV. So here we call this a unstable amplifier. Now this stability can be improved by applying the negative feedback. So how we can apply? So here let us see. Again we consider an internal amplifier with the gain of AV. This is the input voltage and output voltage. Now we apply a feedback, so the output voltage is given to a feedback network, and the output of the feedback network is connected to the again a input of the amplifier. Let us say my feedback factor is K, and for this kind of the feedback amplifier, we have calculated the gain of the amplifier with feedback is given by AV upon 1 minus K into AV. So here you can see that the gain of the amplifier depends on the original gain of the amplifier. And I already mentioned that original gain of the amplifier, that is AV, it depends on the temperature, it depends on the type of the transistor, depends on what is the supply voltage. So here original gain is a unstable. Now when we apply the feedback, and if this feedback, we are selecting the value of the feedback factor in such a way that let us say the K into AV is too much greater than 1. Remember, if this factor K into AV is too much greater than 1, then I can write a AVF is equal to AV upon a K into minus K into AV, because the 1 is going to be neglected, and here AV will be cancelled, so it is minus 1 upon K. So here what is significant? You can see now the gain of the amplifier is independent of the original gain. AV factor is not there. This AV factor is actually a original gain, and that is not a stable factor. So here we, by applying the negative feedback, if you apply this a condition KAV too much greater than 1, now the gain of the amplifier is going to be only given by a feedback factor, that is minus 1 upon K. So here in this way, now this K, that is a stable one because it is a feedback network. This feedback network is not containing any kind of a active device. Only resistance, capacitor, inductor, or the combination of all these components is going to there, and its characteristics is hardly changing with the temperature. So we can say, by applying the negative feedback, the stability of the amplifier is going to increase. So this is a kind of a advantage of a negative feedback amplifier. Stability is going, but for the stability you should remember the condition that the KAV must be too much greater than 1. Okay, so I think so that this concept is clear to you. Now we will see what is the another advantage of a negative feedback amplifier? And we will see the effect on a bandwidth of the amplifier. With feedback and without feedback, what will be the change in the bandwidth? Now, how to obtain the bandwidth? Already you know that if we have this amplifier circuit, then we apply the input signal, output signal. Now, to measure the bandwidth, what we are doing, we applied a different frequency F, 2F, 3F, like this, and for all this frequency, we measure the voltage gain of the amplifier. And for that, we have to keep this input voltage constant. Remember, normally in the practical, we are keeping this as a 20 millivolt. But it is not necessary. You can also apply a 10 millivolt or a 100 millivolt also. So to obtain the bandwidth of the amplifier, you apply a different frequency at the input of the amplifier circuit, and for each frequency, what is the gain of the amplifier. And if we plot the graph, a frequency against the voltage gain, then you will get this kind of the response. Correct? Here, this part is known as a low frequency response. This is a mid frequency response, and this is called a high frequency response. Here we have a maximum voltage gain, that is AV maximum. Now to find out the bandwidth, what is bandwidth? That is a half power bandwidth, means where the power of the amplifier is going to be half. So here, instead of power, we have a voltage gain. So in this voltage gain, here if I will take a voltage gain divided by root 2, then that is a corresponding to half power point, remember. And you draw a line, then this line is intersecting at this point, that is called a lower cutoff frequency F1, and this is known as a upper cutoff frequency F2. So if we take a difference of these two, that is called a bandwidth. So bandwidth is a difference of F2 minus F1. Now if we see the practical value, then the F1 is very small, and that is round about 100 Hertz. And F2 is very large, and it is round about, let us say, 100 kilohertz. So if you take the difference of this, means 100 kilohertz minus 100 Hertz, then almost again it will be equal to 100 kilo. So here in this case, F2 is too much, you can say F2 is too much greater than F1, we can say the bandwidth of the amplifier is almost equal to F2. Here remember, whatever the things we have discussed, it is without feedback. So here without feedback, the bandwidth of the amplifier is F2. Now if we apply the bandwidth, if we apply the negative feedback, means here the feedback factor is there, and the output of the feedback is connected to input. This is my feedback factor K. Then due to this, already you know, now the gain of the amplifier is not going to remain AV, but it is going to change AVF. It is going to change. It is going to change AVF. Now, already we know that the gain of the amplifier is going to reduce by applying the negative feedback. So, in this case, again, if I will apply a different frequency F, 2F, 3F, 4F at the input of the amplifier, again I will measure what is the gain of the amplifier for each frequency, and if we plot the graph, then if we plot this frequency response curve, then the frequency response curve will be like this. Remember, here this is a graph without feedback, and this is a graph with feedback. And here whatever the maximum gain was there, let us say AV is a 20, now this is going to reduce to 10 due to the applying a negative feedback. Gain of the amplifier is decreased. Now here in this case, if you calculate what is the new bandwidth of the amplifier, then again we have to find out what is the maximum gain. And what is the maximum gain? That is the AVF maximum is there. Then I have to draw a line. I have to draw a line where it is a AVF maximum divided by √2 to find out the bandwidth. Now, if you look at this point, then my lower cutoff frequency is going to be this. Instead of F1, now it is F1 dash. Instead of F2, now it is going to be a F2 dash. So, lower cutoff frequency is going to reduce. Now instead of 100 Hz, it becomes a 50 Hz. And upper cutoff frequency, instead of F2, now it is a F2 dash, and let us say it's going to be a 200 kilohertz. So by applying this negative feedback, the frequency response curve become a more flatter, and upper and the lower cutoff frequency is changed. Upper frequency is increasing, lower cutoff frequency is decreasing. So actually if we see the mathematically, then we can write what is the F1 dash and what is the F2 dash. Remember that F1 dash is given by, now here it is going to decrease. So remember F1 dash is given by F1 upon 1 minus K into AV. So it is going to decrease by the factor of 1 upon 1 minus K into AV. And whatever the new upper cutoff frequency is there, that is F2 dash, and it is given by F2 into 1 minus K into AV. Remember, when we apply the feedback, then the parameter of the amplifier is going to be changed by the factor of 1 upon 1 minus K into AV. Either due to that the parameter is going to increase or it is going to decrease. So the lower cutoff frequency will be decreased by this parameter 1 upon 1 minus KAV, and F2 dash is going to be increased by the parameter of 1 minus K into it. So using this formula you can calculate what is the new lower cutoff frequency and what is the new upper cutoff frequency. Here now if we calculate the bandwidth, then the bandwidth of the feedback amplifier, is a difference of f2 dash minus f1 dash, original according to the definition of the bandwidth. And again you can say that f2 dash is too much greater than f1 dash, because f2 dash is 200 kilohertz, f1 dash is 50 hertz. So upper cutoff frequency is very high. So we can say the bandwidth is almost equal to a f2 dash. Correct? What is f2 dash? So f2 dash is nothing but it is f2 into 1 minus k into AV. And what is f2? f2 is the original bandwidth of the amplifier. So we can say that the bandwidth with the feedback is given by bandwidth of the original amplifier 1 minus k into AV. So here you can see that the bandwidth of the amplifier is going to be increased by the factor of 1 minus k into AV. So normally if the bandwidth of the amplifier is large, then it is a good quality of the amplifier. Means in that case either we applied a lower frequency or a higher frequency. For every frequency the response of the amplifier is same. So if we have more flat chord, then that is the ideal amplifier, and that you can achieve by applying this negative feedback to the amplifier circuit. So this is another advantage of using a negative feedback. Now if you look at this, the gain of the amplifier is given by AV upon 1 minus k into AV. Bandwidth of the amplifier is given by bandwidth into 1 minus k into AV. If you take a gain bandwidth product before applying the feedback and after applying the feedback, then it will be same. Here, and this is an important parameter. Remember that if we have a original gain, then if I will take the product of gain into bandwidth, that is known as a gain bandwidth product, then it is a AV and bandwidth. Okay, so we are not writing this. The gain of the bandwidth is a original gain, that is AV into bandwidth. Now if you write gain into bandwidth product for a feedback amplifier, gain into bandwidth product for a feedback amplifier, then the gain is given by AV upon 1 minus k into AV, bandwidth is given by bandwidth into 1 minus k into AV. So this factor is cancelled and you will get a AV into a bandwidth, and that is the original. So this is an important parameter for the amplifier. Always the gain bandwidth product is going to remain constant. Either you are applying the feedback or you are not applying the feedback, but the gain bandwidth product is always constant. So from that also you can find out the feedback factor. Later on we will see a example that by using this gain bandwidth product you can calculate the feedback factor. So here we have discussed that how the bandwidth of the amplifier is going to change with the negative feedback. In the next lecture we will see the effect of a negative feedback on a distortion. What is distortion? What is noise? That we will see, and we will check out the effect of negative feedback on the distortion as well as on the amplifier circuit.